std7 Prose Unit 2, The Last Stone Carver. So this passage, the story, is written by Sigrun Srivastav, an Indian author of German origin. She is a multifaceted artist, a writer, a sculptor and an illustrator. As a writer, she has written over 25 books for children of all ages. Moving on to the lesson. The young man flung the hammer and the chisel to the ground and cried, "I am leaving, father, I am leaving you and this work. Look what it's brought us." He spread out his arms and glanced indifferently at the small, congested workroom. The whitewashed walls were stained by many monsoons. The window, bare of curtains, opened into a tiny backyard. "After all these years of work, this is all we have. Nothing. This kind of work just doesn't pay." The story is about a stone carver. The scene starts with his son, an young man who flung the hammer and the chisel to the ground. And that means he's throwing away the hammer and the chisel to the ground and is shouting. That is, here cried means he's shouting, "I am leaving, father, I am leaving you and this work." He's telling that I'm going to stop this wooden, that is this carving. I don't want this job. I'm leaving it. I'm leaving you also and this work also. See what it has done to us. That way he's telling. So he's frustrated. He spread out his arms and glanced indifferently at the small, congested workroom. So he's looking at his house. He's pointing out his house. It's very much crowded. No place to sit. The house was in a very poor condition. The whitewashed walls were very strained, and because of many monsoons, because of the rains, they didn't have money even to repair their houses or to whitewash the houses. And the window was bare of curtains, no curtains in the windows, and it opened into a tiny backyard. It was very a small house and a poor house. So after so much of work, we don't have anything. We don't have anything left with us. That is what he's telling. This kind of work just doesn't pay. He's telling, what is the use of working so hard and we are not able to even manage our livelihood? Our house so dirty. What can we do with nothing in our hand? He's telling. So that's what he is telling to his father. The hard work, he is frustrated because after so much of hard work his father and he had put in, but they couldn't even have a proper house to live in. So that's what makes him frustrated. He's to leave the job. He's telling, we will leave the job and go for something else. So that will be better. That way he's telling to his father. The old man stared at his son in surprise. Although his voice trembled, it didn't lose its usual gentleness. "It's not only the money that matters, son. It's a service to God." "Father," the young man grunted impatiently, "times have changed. The stone carver's work has changed too. You can't live on sculptures for temples only. You have to mass produce like all the others in Agra. Come on, father, wake up." The old man, he was staring at his son in surprise, hearing the voice of his son. He was really dejected. But what could he do? His voice trembled. He was angry inside. He didn't lose his usual gentleness. He was always gentle man, so very soft and polite. So he didn't lose it, even though he was angry. Very calmly he said, "It's not only the money that matters, son. It's not only for money we are working. It's the service. We are giving service to God. That is very important." That way he's telling, because the sculptures are mostly of God, isn't it? So he's telling like that. "Father," the young man grunted impatiently. So the young man, his son, was very impatient. He said, he got very wild and he's telling, "Father, times have changed. Now it's not the olden days. See, we need money for our livelihood. So sculptures, the life of the stone carver also should be changed. Only for temples we can't be sculpting. We have to produce many other things, so that we'll go to Agra and we will live a better life. We'll produce other things. There are many companies are there. We will work there and we will earn money. That way he's telling. Come, we'll go to Agra, father. Get up, wake up. Don't be dreaming. Don't be in this standard itself. We have to move. That way he's telling. The lines around the man's mouth tightened. No, my son. This is the work I learned from my father, and he learned from his father. We have kept up this tradition for hundreds of years, and I hope you would continue our work. No, father, the young man replied with determination. I am tired of working for a pittance for the committee of the temple in Srinagar. I am leaving, father. So children, hearing the stubborn voice of his son, the man was really angry. His face tightened. He was angry. He said, no, my son. But he said softly, see, son, we cannot leave this work all of a sudden. I learned it from my father, and he learned it from his father. So we have been following it for hundreds of years in our family. And I want you also to continue this work, he is telling. But the boy got angry. The young man is angry. He is telling, no, father, I cannot do this. He said with determination. That means what? He was very much determined. He was determined that he will do this, or he will leave this job. I am tired of working for a pittance. Pittance means a small amount of money. See, the people give, after so much of hard work, they give such a poor amount of money. It's very small amount of money. And I can't live with this. So, from the temple committee, we are getting very small amount. So, I am leaving it. I don't want to do this job here afterwards, he said. The young man moved angrily out of the room, leaving his old father crouching in front of a half-finished marble statue. He dropped his hands into his laps and closed his eyes. He began to pray and didn't even hear the hesitant goodbye. His son called out from the door. Master Ji, called Salim, the servant boy, entering the workshop barefooted. He held out a glass of steaming tea in his hand. Master Ji, he asked once more, his voice filled with concern. The young man, he moved angrily out of the room. That means what? He went away from the room. Very angrily, he just left his father and he went out. His father was sitting in front of a marble statue, half-finished marble statue. But he didn't bother. He was sitting in his heels, sitting down like that and working on it. He dropped his hands into his laps. His father-in-law was just too much he was feeling, because his son all of a sudden came and told him like that. So he just closed his eyes and he began to pray to God. And he was so upset that he didn't even hear his son telling him goodbye. His son called out from the door, goodbye, he said. But he didn't even hear that. Master Ji called Salim, the servant boy, entering the workshop barefooted. So Salim, he just called out, Master Ji. That is his servant boy, the master servant boy. He came, entered the workshop where the old man was sitting, and he had a glass of steaming tea in his hand. Again he called out Master Ji with concern. That means very low voice he called out. That is, with much affection he said Master Ji he was calling, because Master Ji did not hear him. In the next video, let us watch what happened to Master Ji and Salim. Thank you.